Aries Girl Podcast. Hello Zodiacs. The title of this week's episode is Signed, Sealed, Divorced. I'm yours. I'm not sure why Carlos King or the powers that be want to drag Stevie Wonder's classic song into this, but here we are, baby. The only women on this show that are actually divorced are named Melody and Destiny. Trisha is not part of the First Wives Club, so Carlos needs to stop trying to gaslight people. It's interesting that Trisha is now part of the show's opening along with her male concubine Ken, per usual. She's wearing a blonde wig that doesn't complement her skin tone, and she is flaunting her adultery in our faces. Also interesting that Stormy and Courtney are no longer a part of the opening. Farewell Stormy, I wish you so much success, and I also wish that you would have taken your buddy Trisha with you when you quit the show. I said what I said. So, let's get into this week's review. The show starts off with the finale dinner at the Rennell House in St. Thomas. The ladies are wearing all white to represent cleanliness, purity, and new beginnings. Melody did have table-side entertainment with a fire juggler, and of course, Miss Tisha referred to him as a talented fireman, which isn't very growthful. For some reason, I was not surprised that Destiny had the stink face when Melody was saying how the girls' trip had been amazing overall. They were actually able to have fun, dance, and get some issues resolved, and she hoped that it would continue once they returned to Huntsville. Then, Kimmy admitted that it was the first time she had ever been on a girls' trip, which was odd, because she had been complaining about not liking girls' trips from the moment we saw her in baggage claim in St. Thomas. I was under the impression that Kimmy didn't like girls' trips because of previous girls' trips that she had been on. Odd how Kimmy dislikes something that she had never done before. It was also odd and super cute to me how Destiny went into her confessional to complain and accuse everyone at the table of ass-kissing because they said that they were enjoying the trip. Again, Tisha should have never invited Destiny, and again, I wish Stormy and Trisha would have taken Destiny back to Huntsville with them when they left the trip without saying anything to Melody. Then, we wouldn't have had to hear Destiny complain for the millionth time about Sunny and Moses. I guess Nell really hurt Destiny's feelings when she said how she felt about Destiny being with her son Lance, and now, Destiny is taking this opportunity to have a pity party at the table. We get it, Destiny. You were a side chick for 15 years for Moses, and he didn't consider you to be wife material, and apparently, Nell feels the same way about Destiny not being wife material for her son. When does the big D energy that Destiny claims to have kick in so she can stop being so damn sensitive? Thanks to Nell for her confessional, giving her unsolicited opinion on Sunny's multiple apologies to Destiny. Thanks also to Kimmy for her confessional on the major gains of the girls' trip. We know that there is work to be done, so thanks for stating the obvious. To close out the scene, Melody had everyone sign the group photo and let the ladies know that they would all receive a copy of the signed picture. I'm low-key wondering if Melody is going to get Stormy and Trisha to sign the photo before she has those copies made. Melody also passed out a white rose to all of the ladies and had Shanita do a toast. Even though Melody was hoping and wishing that they could take the great vibes back to Huntsville with them, I have my doubts, especially since Destiny had another stink face during the toast. Lord. Of course, the first people shown back in Huntsville are Trisha and Ken. Thankfully, Trisha took off that sideshow bob wig and sported some dark braids that complemented her skin tone. The Aries Girl Podcast applauds you, Trisha. So does Sideshow Bob. I'm not even going to go in on Ken's man unit because I'm just thankful that Trisha has a cute hairstyle in this scene. I can sum this scene up with the quickness. Despite the cute hairstyle, Trisha is a 304ologist. She's a housewife with a live-in male concubine. Sunny and Moses were both single people when they got together, which will always supersede and be better than the adultery between Ken and Trisha. No matter how Trish tries to slice things, she's a married woman having an adulterous affair out in the open. Her marriage vows mean nothing more than a piece of paper to her. This is nothing that a young lady needs to see on television or up close and personal at home. Trisha and Ken are delusional, and so is Carlos King for thinking that viewers of this show want to see this crap. Also, it was real cute how Trisha tried to throw Melody in the same camp as her, by insinuating that Mel moved on before her divorce was final. Trisha, baby girl, Melody is now divorced. What is your excuse? Also, Melody never slept with your husband in your marital home like you supposedly did with Martel, so there's that. And Ken, you come in third place. Martel's paramour comes in second, because Destiny Payton is the #1 side piece of the year and probably of the world. But if you want a male side piece of the year award, here's one from the Aries Girl podcast. Funny how Ken claims he's big on respect, but disrespects himself by sleeping with another man's wife. Miss me with the BS and the failed attempt at gaslighting. Let's move on. Of course, the third scene essentially begins with Kimmy and Maurice in a confessional. And of course, Kimmy is glad to be home because it seems as though she doesn't see herself outside of her marriage. And we all probably wondered if Maurice wanted Kimmy to have a girl-on-girl experience in St. Thomas when he said that he wanted her to experience a lot of fun with her girls. How could we forget the fun Kimmy and Tisha had in the cesspool in the Dominican Republic? You've got to love the false narrative that both Kimmy Scott King and Maurice Luther King Jr. tried to spin as it pertained to Ken and Trisha. Kimmy tried to say how well Trisha handled herself with the Martel situation after lying about it, while Maurice tried to say that Ken was a nice guy and that Marquez was a guy that abandoned his family. Then, Maurice threw Trish under the bus by reminding everyone that Trish has been married the whole time as it pertained to Ken and Martel. This entire scene is unnecessary because I've already told you that Trisha is a 304ologist and that Ken is nothing more than her male concubine. All this scene proved was that Kimmy and Maurice could relate because they were once in a similar situation as Ken and Trisha, so this entire conversation is pointless. Side pieces and cheating spouses stick together and have empathy for one another. We get it. We didn't need the Easter speeches about infidelity and why people are slow to get divorces. It's on to the next scene for brevity. So, in the next scene with Tisha and Marceau, let me first say that I'm wondering why Tisha didn't tell Shanita that she looked like a guy when she got buck in her face. I mean, be bout it, Tisha. Don't talk slick in front of Marceau. A real woman would have said that to Shanita's face, and a classy woman would have never made that comment in the first place. Also, I loved how Marceau stuck to the talking point that Melody doesn't keep friends, and that Shanita won't be Melody's friend next year. Here's a serious question for the Scotts. Do you guys think that you're Melody's friends? Or do you think that the only reason that you get to be in her presence is because she's under contract to film with you? When this show comes to an end, do you think you'll be in Melody's circle, or do you think that you'll be cut off? This is another pointless scene, and the Scotts should just be lucky that the cameras didn't pan to that hole in the wall above their stove. Irony died when they went into confessional, and Marceau said that some people are in your life for a reason, and some for a season. My dude, you and Tisha are in Melody's life for seasons that you film on this show. Catch that tea. I thanked Tisha and Marceau multiple times in this scene. I thanked Marceau for spilling the tea to Tisha that Trish went to Martel's a couple of times, which is more than Tisha knew about. There's nothing like a less than honest adulterer, and we applaud you, Marceau, for keeping Trish honest. I also thanked Marceau for saying that someone needs to teach quote-unquote them how to lie. Who better to host a how to lie master class than Marceau Luther King Jr.? Then, I thanked Tisha for spilling the tea to Marceau that Destiny may have slept with Martel. Now he can start even more BS by running back and spilling this tea at a later date because he told Tisha that Martel makes jokes about having slept with Destiny. This also gives Tisha a little ammo to keep in her arsenal. There's nothing like weaponizing rumors which might actually be true. I know Tisha can't wait to repeat the line that Martel thinks that Destiny's son looks like him. Thanks for yet another useless scene, Carlos King. In the final scene, it was seeming as though dark-skinned Ken was living his ultimate side-piece dream of confronting the spouse of the woman who made him a male concubine. In this moment, I realized how far the Black family has fallen in stature and importance on television. Florida and James Evans would never, nor would the Cosbys. And if Carlos King can make me push aside the horrible things that Bill Cosby has done, it's a testament to how low love and marriage Huntsville has become. But I digress. Because Trisha went into confessional talking about wanting to move forward with the divorce conversation with Marquez and how he has made empty promises before, and all I can do is wonder what kind of promise Trisha's marriage was. This woman is a walking contradiction in every sense. When Marquez arrived and sat down at the table, the first relevant thing out of his mouth was to ask Ken and Trisha why they were there. That actually made me wonder if Marquez even knew that the topic of discussion was even going to be divorce. Plus, Marquez even reminded Trisha that they were still technically married. And it sickened my stomach to hear Trisha in that confessional, trying to wordsmith the reasons for her adultery. Long story short, if you don't have a divorce decree, your ass is still married, emotions don't matter. That is a fact. And with all of the talk of Trisha's anger outbursts and violent temper, Marquez probably left for his damn safety. I mean, didn't Ken recently check into a hotel for a few days to get away from Trish? So this shouldn't surprise anyone. Also, am I the only one not buying the story that Ken and Trisha weren't intimate before Marquez moved out of the house? Ken already admitted to enjoying being with married women, and I've already said multiple times that Trish is a 3-0-forologist. And what the hell did Trish mean when she said that Ken was having all kinds of emotional connections? Wait, she's trying to tell us that she and Ken are both 3-0-forologists. Okay, I get it now. And Ken is also giving off major cringe vibes by admitting to Marquez that he hugs that man's daughter at night, and the fact that Trisha doesn't understand what Marquez's issue is adds a new layer of cringe to the equation. Now, we know Trish to be a liar, so nothing she is saying in her confessional is really resonating with me as it pertains to Marquez. I have absolutely no respect for Trish, but found a way to dislike her even more when she said that it didn't matter that Marquez cut the umbilical cord for both of his kids. Ken really needs to catch a freaking clue. Trisha is showing him who she is. And Marquez is right. He should know something about the man that is sleeping under the same roof as his children, and as his wife, if you want to be technical. I totally understood that Marquez wanted to have a cordial relationship with Ken, but Ken blew things up by saying that he was the man of the house and a natural provider. My goodness, how freaking condescending. Also, Ken was trying to lecture Marquez on how to react to his presence. What the actual hell, Ken? But then he wanted to soften the blow by telling Marquez that he wasn't trying to take his place, but trying to assist him. And Trish co-signing how her kids and nephews adore Ken did not help the situation. Marquez looked like he wanted to snatch Ken's man unit clean off of his head, and I would not have blamed him if he did. I'm so tired of these people playing in our faces. Divorce paperwork is not just one page. Hell, any idiot knows that paperwork that needs to be notarized should not be folded. Plus, Trisha, the paperwork needed to be signed in front of the notary in order to be notarized, but thanks for the prop. This is not black excellence. This is freaking mediocrity. And I want Ken and Trisha to exit stage left just like Stormy and Courtney did. Seriously? How is the dude smashing your wife fit to give advice about getting therapy, and then is bragging how Marquez can call him for anything? And they left Marquez crying at the table. Seriously? What the hell? Please make sure that you are subscribed to the Aries Girl podcast to catch my reviews and shorts on Love and Marriage Huntsville episodes and cast members. And I will see you on the next video. Until then, take care.